All right, guys, today we're going to talk about the drought and the heat in the Southwest United States. Every year when it's the middle of the summer and it's 118 degrees, there's no rain, the lakes start to dry up, the dams start to dry up, everybody starts to look for a scapegoat. It has to be somebody's fault. Everyone always wants to find a quick and easy solution, and usually that solution is to blame the gardeners. It's the gardeners' fault. This is a desert Southwest. Why are you growing anything? Why are you using water to grow food and greenery in your yard? Gardeners always become the scapegoat, and it drives me crazy. So today we're going to talk about why gardeners are actually the solution to the drought and the heat and not the problem. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel before I say something that upsets you, because I might say something that upsets you, but please subscribe and like the video. Let's talk about why gardeners are the answer and not the problem. All right, so first off, let's talk about the heat island effect and what that means and how gardeners actually help combat that problem. So the heat island effect happens in large cities. Phoenix has become a very large city and all its suburbs around it. And what happens is, as we continue to grow and expand out into the wilderness, out into the desert, is we continue to lay down asphalt and concrete, and we build homes, and all of these things actually absorb the heat. In the middle of the summer when it's 118 degrees, walk in the grass and see how it feels on your feet, and then walk barefoot on the concrete or on the asphalt and see how that feels. All of these things absorb the sun's heat. And then in the middle of the night when it should be cool, our lows are above 90 degrees. And why is that? Well, that's because the concrete, the asphalt, our tile roofs, all of those things are now still simmering because they've absorbed all that heat, and they're slowly releasing that heat into the air. And that's why it never cools down in the middle of the summer, because of the heat island effect, because we're now so big and we've done away with all the greenery and all the plants. Now let's talk about how plants and gardening can actually combat that. So plants, they actually reflect the heat. Okay, kind of like a white surface. You see in a lot of cities around the world, they're starting to paint the asphalt white. Kind of does the same thing. Instead of absorbing the heat, it reflects it right back away, basically shielding us from that heat. That's what plants do. Plants also transpire. It's called transpiration. That's basically evaporation from the pores of their leaves. So instead of putting off heat, they put off water, evaporation. That helps cool the surrounding area as well. Once again, in the middle of the summer, go lay down in the middle of the street. See how that feels. Then go lay down in the middle of a park where it's covered in grass and see how that feels. It feels a lot less hot. There's a reason for that. The more asphalt we lay down, the hotter our city's gonna be. The more greenery we plant and lay down, the cooler our city is going to be. So you can see how gardeners are actually helping this problem. They're not hurting it. And the greenery with the transpiration can help bring in the rain. If you guys are from Arizona, you know back in the day, monsoons were awesome. Almost every summer afternoon, you would see the monsoon storms, the cloud storms come rolling over the superstitions, and you knew, hey, we're probably gonna get a storm. Now, you see the clouds over the superstitions, but as soon as they get to all that concrete and asphalt, because we built so far out there, the clouds just stop. They just completely disappear and they go away. So if we can combat the heat island effect by planting more greenery, we're gonna help our chances of the monsoon returning and actually giving us rain. So plant more because it brings in the rain and it reduces the heat. All right, let's talk about the second reason why gardeners are actually the answer and not the problem. Gardeners are growing their own food. Yes, it's crazy, but we're growing our own food and we're doing it a lot more efficiently than big agriculture. We're gonna talk about big agriculture in a minute, but you are growing your own food. Your own food is more healthy and it's more efficient. You're becoming self-efficient as you grow your own food for your own family. Do you remember when COVID first hit about a year ago? The stores were closing down, people were raiding the shelves, people were worried about food shortages. Well, if you are growing your own food, that is not a problem. You can take care of yourself. You can be self-sufficient. And if we're talking about large agriculture, a lot of them use these synthetic fertilizers, and they don't treat the ground well. These synthetic fertilizers are actually damaging the ground so that they're not sustainable long term. If you're a backyard gardener, a home gardener, like most of us are, you're doing it organically. You're feeding the soil, you're building the soil, you're improving the soil, which in turn brings more greenery, which, as we talked about, reduces the temperature, invites the rain to come in. So by growing your own food, you're helping all of those things instead of relying on big agriculture to do that for you. All right, so now let's talk about big ag. If you look at a breakdown of water consumption in Arizona, percentage of where the majority is used, agriculture is responsible for 74% of our water usage in Arizona. And let's talk about why that's a problem. So big ag in places like Kingman, Arizona, which is in the middle of the desert, they have thousands and thousands of acres of trees like pistachio and pecans. Okay, maybe that's not such a bad thing, they're growing food, but let's talk about who those companies are. Those are companies from out of state, those are companies from out of country who come in to our state. They use our well water, they drill as many wells as they want, they're not regulated, they can pull as much groundwater as they want. They grow these crops that take a ton of water, and then they take these crops and they ship them around the world for profit. So they come in, grow food that isn't the greatest food to grow using our water, and then they make all the profits by shipping it out of state and out of country. So it's not even benefiting us, but they are stealing our water and then blaming us, the backyard gardeners, when we want to grow our own broccoli for our own family, being a lot more efficient and growing food that's a lot healthier. There's recently a company from Saudi Arabia who has come into La Paz County, and they have purchased 10,000 acres of land. They are growing hay using our groundwater unchecked as much as they want, and they are growing hay that they are going to ship back to Saudi Arabia to feed their livestock. So again, these huge companies are coming in from out of country, stealing our water, shipping the profits back to their country, and then the media wants to blame us, small backyard gardeners, for using a minuscule amount of water compared to how much water they use to grow our own greenery, to help reduce drought, to help reduce heat, to bring in the rain. They're blaming us even though we're the ones helping. We don't have to feel bad for growing our own food, even for growing grass, even for growing whatever trees we want. It's those companies, it's those other countries that should feel bad for coming in here and stealing our water. And please don't get me wrong, in all of this, I'm not saying go out and waste water because you're a backyard gardener and you have a free pass to waste water. In my next video, I'm going to talk about a lot of tips and tricks that I've learned over the years of growing food and greenery in Arizona that you can use to make sure that you're conserving the water the best you can. Because it all starts with the individual. Yeah, there's these companies out there doing horrible things and we need to exploit them and let them know and realize that it's not our fault. But we also still need to take some responsibility and manage water the best we can. So I know there's lots of opinions on this, but bottom line, don't feel bad. The amount of water that you're going to use in your yard, no matter how many plants you have, is so minute and compared to everything else that's going on, especially big agriculture. Grow your own food, feed your own family, use the water you need to use, and don't feel bad. All right, guys, thanks for watching. As I said, please subscribe. Even if you hate this video, why not subscribe? That way you can get notified every time I post a video and you can come back and say horrible things. But if you don't subscribe, you don't know when I post a video, you can't say horrible things to me. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.